Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this one I thought we could try something a little bit different, I guess a more philosophical approach to content creation. So in this one I wanted to delve into the phrase we attract what we are. You know, that's one thing that people say all the time when I read forums like Quora, for example. Every time that someone talks about an encounter that they have with somebody that didn't go so well, people tend to say, oh well, we attract what we are, or the equivalent would be light attract light. And I guess there are other like synonyms of that phrase. This one I wanted to share my thoughts on that, whether I believe that we attract what we are. So I guess this is kind of like a philosophical Wednesday. If you guys like this type of content, then maybe next Wednesday we can delve into whether people can change or what came first, the chicken or the egg. Okay, we may not delve into that one, but we can delve into whether I believe or not that people can change. If you know, you guys let me know in the comment section down below whether you enjoy this type of content. Now, do we attract what we are? So initially I would say no. I think that we attract all type of people. I think that any living, breathing human being can tell you that when they go out there, all type of people tend to gravitate towards them, right? I would say especially if you possess, you know, one of the 5 traits that are most coveted by society. So wealth, beauty, right, wit, intelligence, whether it be emotional or intellectual, right? I find that all type of people, you know, will gravitate towards you regardless, right? I don't think that, you know, wealthy people only have wealthy people gravitating around them, right? Like on the rare instances where I leave my house. Now I know I talk to a camera, but I am a very introverted person, right? So I don't leave my home very often, but when I do, I have all type of people approach me, right? I mean, I have a homeless man approach me, and I ain't homeless, okay? I'm talking to you guys from my apartment. So I say I attract all type of people, all type of men, or even when it comes to friendship, I attract all type of women want to befriend me, you know. And I don't think that most of them are necessarily similar to me. I have said this before, I have a very questionable moral compass. Now put like that, actually let me rephrase, because put like that, it can seem like, you know, I condone things like the capital sin or stuff like that. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that when I turn probably like 25, 26, you know, I wrote down my own code of conduct, right? And that is not necessarily one that society would approve of. You know, there are things on the list that, you know, my parents told me or society would approve of, but there are other things that society by and large doesn't seem to approve of, and I still feel like it's fine. I don't mind, right? I could cite something like stripping, for example. I don't care for strippers. I don't care what women do with their body. I don't think that stripping is morally wrong or that strippers have, you know, a low moral compass. I don't care. What another woman is choosing to do with her body is her problem, and it has nothing to do with me. Yet, you know, coming back to the topic, whether we attract what we are, I tend to attract a lot of women that are like very holier than thou women who believe themselves to be morally superior to like strippers and just everybody in general, right? And this is a side note because I have ADHD, right? But I tend to be very skeptical of very like moral people, or people self-proclaim moral people. I'm very skeptical of them, because what my experience have taught me is that these people are so harsh judges of others because they are very harsh judges of themselves. Usually these are people who carry a lot of shame with them. So one way that they found to deal with that shame is by shaming other women as well. So when people come to me and they arrogate themselves as this super superior, super morally high person, I tend to be like, okay, but I tend to like kind of like side eye them a bit. I'm not even fan of front, right? And that is because I once knew this person, you know, one example out of many, I guess this is the mini story time, who was really like who really felt she was morally superior to other women. She would always talk about how women are so loose nowadays, how they sleep with men on the first date. And you guys, she really like hated, okay, sex workers, strippers. She would talk very poorly of them. She would go on this unhinged rant, really talking for 40 minutes about them, about everything that's wrong with that. I always felt she was unhinged. I mean, imagine giving that amount of brain power to something you don't care for and people you don't care about. Like, if I don't care about something, I'm not gonna think about it for that long, you know, talk less of like having full-blown rants about those people. Like, it's giving mentally ill. I'm not even gonna front, okay? Anyways, the rants were entertaining, and you know, I would interject and give my point of view, and there would be a little bit like small little debates or stuff like that, right? Either way, you know, I consume a ridiculous amount of red wine. I have been transparent about that on this channel. Okay, I can drink a ridiculous amount of wine. It is just what it is, right? So one day in my old apartment, her and I, we drank like stupid amount of wine, like literally 5 bottles to the 2 of us. Like, we were hammered, okay baby, hammered, okay? And you know, and she actually shared them, because you know, I always say that drunk people and angry people always speak the truth, right? Now they will say it's a joke, they will say whatever, or people who disguise it as joke. But be very mindful when you're talking to someone who is drunk. Like, be very discerning. Someone who is trying to tell you a joke, or someone who is really, really angry. If you listen, you will find the truth, right? So she was so drunk, and she admitted to sleeping either with her sister's husband or one of her sister's ex-boyfriend. I don't recall exactly, right? I'm not even gonna sit here and lie, but it was one of the two. And I was flabbergasted, right? Because this was someone who really, again, proclaimed herself to be so superior to other people. And I will never forget the next morning, I was sitting in my old bathroom. I was actually smoking in my old bathroom, cigarettes, not weed, you guys. And you know, I used to do this thing where I would drink wine in the morning, because I would proclaim that it makes the, you know, the hangover go away. Of course they didn't, but anyways, I was sitting in the, you know, on the bathroom drinking this wine and smoking this cigarette, and she came in and she was like, oh my god, oh, alcohol will make you say crazy things. And I was just playing dumb, you guys. I was like, huh, what are you talking about? You know, she was like, don't you remember? And I was like, I remembered. Okay. And I saw her puzzle, like whether she, you know, she was hesitating whether she should repeat it or not. I guess she wasn't sure whether I remembered or not, but she decided to repeat it regardless. And she was like, you know how yesterday I came up with this story that I once slept with my sisters, whatever. And I was like, was that not true? I'm such an actor, you guys. And she was like, no, that never happened. Like, alcohol would really make you, you know, say crazy things and mix things up and whatever. And I was like, yeah, no problem, whatever. You know, I kind of like changed the subject because I know she did that shit. Okay, include Kanye. Was it Kanye? No, it was 50 Cent. Okay, include 50 Cent me. She did that ish. Guilty as F. Okay. So, and that's just one of many examples. Actually, now that I sidetracked this video completely thanks to my ADHD, I can get into the other mini story times. This was one of the innumerous, you know, self-proclaimed super clean people. I always say that black women have problem with this cleanliness Olympics. I don't know if subconsciously it's because some black people or some black women believe that because the color of their skin they're dirty. I don't know. Oh, that could be the case. I need to think about that or journal about it, right? But I have seen this repeated theme with black women in particular. I have not seen this with my Caucasian friends, when they really like to insist on how clean, how neat they are, how often they clean around their home, how they take 6 showers a day. Yes, this particular person claimed to say 6 showers a day. Okay, she said she would shower after the gym, after eating her snack, or whatever it is she was saying. It was crazy. And you know, I have no problem admitting that, you know, when my mental health is poor, I take 1 shower every 2nd day. Now usually I shower daily. I take 1 or 2 showers a day depending on whether I go to the gym or not. But sometimes I go through really, you know, strong depression, mental stronghold and anxiety, and you know, I get in one shower every 48 hours, and every time I say this in one video, and people were like, they always email me and say like, you know, were you not ashamed to say that? And I was like, why should I be? I mean, I will only be ashamed of a lie. I will never be ashamed of the truth, and that is my truth. Okay, so I don't care for the cleanliness Olympics, you know, I don't care to be seen as the cleanest person in the world. You know I don't smell, I know my house look all right most of the time, and that's enough for me. I'm fine with that. Okay, anyways, this person was always raving on how clean she was, and she would do this thing as well, where every time that she saw somebody on the street that looks really good, okay, this is key, you guys, she wouldn't like just do this with any woman. Okay, she would only do this with women that look absolutely flawless. You know that confidence you have when you have an outfit that you know is the ish, you know, your face is beat, your hair is, you know, there is not one hair out of place. You all know what I'm talking about. You be walking out in the street with your head really high because, you know, you is that girl and can nobody tell you nothing. And every time she would see someone like that, she would be like, yeah, you see them like this, but I'm sure their houses is disgusting, da, 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 without fail. Again, she wouldn't do this with all women, only women who look fantastic. And it is my personal belief that I was led by envy, right? But I mean, I don't disagree that generally, you know, most people are not nearly as clean as they claim to be, right? Going to any public toilet, any women, because I go to women's toilet, right? Females, I hate that term, but yeah, we'll get my point. Going to any female's public toilet will let you know that, you know, most women are not nearly as clean as they claim to be, right? Because, you know, if you're leaving this toilet in these states, if you're doing it here, then you're probably doing it home. It is what it is, right? So I don't disagree with her on that, but I was really puzzled as to why she would do that every time that she would see a woman that looks fantastic, and no one can tell me that that wasn't fueled by envy. Anyway, fast forward to one day, you know, she had seen these mini braids on YouTube. They were not mini, but they were like more medium-sized braids, but with on natural hair, right, without extension. And because I used to do that under my wig, she asked me if I could do the same for her, and I was like, yeah, sure, bet I'll do it. So, and you guys, when I tell you that her hair smelled disgusting, like literally, I rarely use that word, but it was really disgusting. I don't know if there's some oil she would put in her hair or whatever, but the scent of it was yikes. Okay, and I kept thinking the entire time, oh my god, like, so much for you talking about other women all the time. Yeah, this is how your hair smells, girl. Okay, listen, it was disgusting. I remember washing my hair like 39 times after, you know, not literally, but very, very many times in order to get rid of that scent, which was really yikes, right? A mix of rotten fish and rotten egg, like very disgusting smell, right? So I say all of this, and I know this was a long rant to say that, or long ramble rather, to say that I'm always very skeptical of super self-righteous people, because obviously these are all anecdotal experience, but they have taught me that, you know, and I could tell you a million other stories, that people are usually not as righteous as they claim to be, right? Anyways, so side note, if you're watching this video and you find that you tend to be super self-righteous, you know, ask yourself why. You know, introspect. There is, like I said, this is a judgment-free zone, but introspect about why it is you believe yourself to be so morally superior to others. One thing that I say all the time is that it isn't my place to judge anybody. I'm not God, and I don't know people's story. I don't know their struggle. I personally, I love the scene. One of my favorite shows of all times is Little Fires Everywhere with Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon, I guess that's how you say her name. I'm not sure that my pronunciation was right. Either way, you know, there is a scene in the show where Kerry Washington tells Reese, like, you didn't make good choices, you had good choices. And I live by that. You can't judge people's lives because you don't know what they've been through, you know. You haven't walked with them all along the journey. I mean, you can know bits of pieces, but you weren't in their childhood household. You don't know exactly what went on. You don't know exactly, you know, what they had to choose from. So it's just not right, you know, for us to judge other people. I personally believe, you know, again, I'm not God, so I don't believe it's my place to judge anyone. Now, after this long ramble, thanks to ADHD, this ramble was sponsored by ADHD. Let's get back into the actual subject of the video, which is, do we attract what we are? I would say no, but what I would say though is that what I believe is that we accept accept what we are. Now, we may not attract what we are. Again, we'll attract anything, right? But we accept what we are. That means if you are in acceptance, in agreement, right, with being in a friendship with somebody, if you are in agreement to be in a relationship with somebody, you have more in common with them than you'd like to believe. That's just the truth, right? I mean, the good book says, "Can't two walk together unless they be agreed?" And I find that to be very true. So I personally always find it super funny that here on YouTube, when I click on video about like how to deal with toxic people, you will always see the conversation will be full of, "Oh my god, this describes my family to a T, this describes my cousins to a T, this describes my friend group to a T." And I will always think, you know, the videos about "Are you toxic?" those videos don't get nearly as many views as these ones. Yeah, usually, generally, if you have a lot of toxic people around you, then, you know, you are kind of toxic too. I mean, there is something about you that is in agreement, that is in acceptance with these people, right? I mean, it could be that you have no boundaries or low boundaries, that your vetter, that your picker is off, right? But there is something about you that attracts toxic people. Either you are like them or more like them than you would like to admit to yourself, or again, your picker is wrong and you don't have enough boundaries, so these people tend to, because they can smell people like that, tend to gravitate towards you. So if you have a lot of toxic people around you watching this video, ask yourself, you know, why it is that these type of people tend to be comfortable gravitating around you, and why are you in agreement, you know, with walking with them? So I think that this phrase should be changed from "we attract what we are" to "we accept what we are." I think that this applies to relationship as well. I'm always flabbergasted and puzzled when, you know, women come to me after they were in a relationship for 3-4 years with a man and say how he was horrible, how he was a cheater, how he was good for nothing, how he was a bum, how he didn't work, da 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 da. They would go on this long rant, and I would just be like, yeah, why were you with this man for 3-4 years though? Like, and most of the time, like, they didn't even leave. This man left them. Like, you stayed with this man, you gave him 2 children, he left you, and now you are telling to the entire world how horrible he was. Like, accountability, anyone? No, nobody. Okay, oh well. I will always, one thing I'll always be is accountable. Okay, so I'll do that, but it makes no sense. So if you're in agreement to work with someone, then usually you have more in common with them than you would like to admit. So that is my thoughts on that. I don't think we attract what we are for the last time, but I do think that we accept what we are. But people who gravitate toward us are not necessarily on the same vibrational length as us, don't usually necessarily share our values. But if we are in agreement to walking, you know, a small piece of the way with them, then usually, generally, we have more in common with them than we would like to admit to ourselves. And with that, we come to the end of this ramble. This video was all over the place, like most of my videos, you guys, because I have ADHD, okay? But if you made it to the end of it, I'm grateful for you. You are the real MVP. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you enjoy this type of content, right? If, let's say 7, okay? If 7 of you comment in the comment section down below saying that you enjoyed this segment, then yeah, because these videos usually average like 70 views, so 7 comments would be like 10%, right? So let's say that, right? If 7 of you ask for it, then next Wednesday we will delve into whether or not I believe people can change. I will share my bias. Obviously, this is a opinion-based channel, and our opinions are always biased anyways. You know, they are tainted by our own trauma and our own life and our own experiences and our own disappointments, etc, etc. So if 7 of you comment, I will come back next Wednesday with whether or not I believe people can change. I will be back on Sunday anyways with a video about, I don't know yet, but tune in Sunday and find out, okay? Do not forget to give this rant, that was, or ramble rather, sorry, that was all over the place, a thumbs up if you enjoyed it nonetheless. And yeah, do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and I will talk to you guys on Sunday 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye guys. Mwah.